Hi guys, welcome to Beklaedt's YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, then please make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on new sewing guides, tips and tricks and much more. My name is Iben, and in today's video I'll show you how I sew my sleeveless dress Ranunkel. The sewing pattern for Ranunkel is very versatile. With the same pattern you can make a blouse or dress in two different lengths. And then you can choose to finish the top with small puff sleeves and elastic bands at the waist, or as a camisole top, or as a sleeveless dress, which is the version I'll show you how to sew in this video. You can buy the sewing pattern for Ranunkel on my website, Beklaedt.com. For the Ranunkel pattern, I recommend to use light or medium weight woven fabrics with good drape. For the dress in this video, I'm using a thin viscose that has a nice heavy drape. Because the dress is sleeveless, it is necessary to line it. I'm using a medium weight cupro as lining. The cupro feels like sand-washed silk on the surface, and it is nice next to the skin. We also need interfacing tape to stabilize the neckline and armholes. I've cut my own strips of interfacing tapes that are about 2 cm wide from lightweight interfacing. It's quite important to cut the tapes on the bias to maintain elasticity around the neckline and armholes. Finally, we need matching thread. Start by cutting the pattern pieces according to the cutting guide. First step is to iron on the interfacing tape to the neckline and armholes on the front and back pieces in outer fabric, but not the lining pieces. The interfacing tape should be ironed onto the wrong side of the fabric. Finish off the raw edges of the pattern pieces by overlocking or zigzagging all around the edges. If you're making sizes EU 50 to 60, there will be an extra bust dart along the side seam that you need to close. If you are in doubt about how to sew darts, then I recommend you to watch my other video for sewing the blouse birk. Find the two front pieces, place them on top of each other, right sides together, and pin them together along the center front seam. Find the two front pieces in lining, place them on top of each other, right sides together, and pin them together along the center front seam. Stitch both center front seams. And finish by pressing the seam open with your iron. Find the front piece in outer fabric and place it flat on the table so the right side is facing up. Place the back piece in outer fabric on top, right sides together, and pin the shoulder seams and side seams together. Do the same for the lining pieces. Stitch the shoulder seams and side seams and press them open with your iron. Place the dress in outer fabric inside the dress in lining, right sides together, and pin the pieces together by the neckline. Stitch the pieces together by the neckline. Snip into the seam allowance by the center front seam without, of course, cutting through it. Make sure to also snip into the seam allowance by the curved neckline on the back piece. Turn the pieces around so the right side is facing up and press the neckline with your iron. Place the dress flat on the table so the right side is facing up. Place one hand between the two layers of fabric so you are able to get a hold of the armhole from the inside. With your other hand, fold the edges of the armhole down so the two layers lay right sides together. With a firm grip, pull both layers back out so you can place pins along one half of the armhole. It is, unfortunately, not possible to stitch the whole armhole at once. Stitch the first half of the armhole. Pull the layers back into place so the right side of the dress is facing up. Then do the same again so we'll be able to place pins at the remaining gap in the armhole. Finish the other armhole the same way. Bring the dress to the ironing board. Snip into the seam allowance along the curved edge of the armhole. Turn the layers around so the right side is facing up and press the armholes. We need to finish off the neckline and armholes with a top stitch that keeps the edges looking neat. I stitch with a stitch length of 3, about 7 mm from the edge all around the edge on both the neckline and armholes. The last thing we need to do is to hem the dress. The lining needs to be cut shorter than the outer fabric. 2 cm or slightly more is ideal. The easiest way to get a neat looking hemline is to place the dress on a large surface, like the floor. You can then trim the hemline on both the dress and lining at once and even out any unevenness at the same time. Press the hemline on both the lining and outer fabric 2 cm towards the wrong side all the way around. Then press the hemline another 2 cm towards the wrong side. If you're making a blouse instead of a dress, then please note that the hemline for the blouse is 2 cm, which means you need to press the hemline 2 times 1 cm instead. Stitch the hemline in place from the right side about 2 cm from the edge. And that was it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, then please give it a like and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.